Once upon a time, in a home full of laughter and delicious smells, there lived a very, very special family. It was the Shoe family. They didn't live in an ordinary house. No, no. They lived inside a giant shoe rack made of light wood, beautifully decorated. The shoe rack was cozy and warm, with many shelves and secret little corners. On the top shelf lived Mrs. Boot. Oh, Mrs. Boot! She was strong and tall, warm brown in color, with red laces that looked like big hugs. She was the mother of the family, always ready with a smile and a kind word. Right beside her was Mr. Shoe. He was a sporty sneaker, blue and white with bright blue laces to match. Mr. Shoe was the father, always ready for a run, and always strong enough to protect everyone. And on the shelf below lived the most playful and bouncy ones of all, the little slippers. There were 3 of them, and each one was cuter than the last. There was Green Slipper, who was as fast as lightning, Yellow Slipper, who loved to laugh, and Pink Slipper, the most curious of them all. They were light, colorful, and very, very curious. Every morning, the shoe rack woke up with the sun. "What a beautiful day," said Mrs. Boot. "Let's all play and have fun." "Yes, a day for new discoveries," said Mr. Shoe, shaking his laces happily. And the little slippers? Oh, they bounced and hopped all over the place. "Whee! Let's jump!" shouted Green Slipper. "Let's run!" giggled Yellow Slipper. Pink Slipper peeked out the window, her little straps trembling with excitement. "I wish I could go outside," she whispered. "I want to see the big world." They spent hours imagining all the adventures they could have. They dreamed of green grass, soft dirt, sweet-smelling flowers, and all the wonderful things beyond the shoe rack. Then, one sunny day, the sun shone brighter than ever. Its warm rays came through the window like an invitation to play. The little slippers looked outside again. "Wow," said Green Slipper. "The world is so big and colorful," said Yellow Slipper. "Let's go! Let's really explore," said Pink Slipper. Mrs. Boot and Mr. Shoe were taking a nice little nap side by side. "Be careful out there, my loves," said Mrs. Boot sleepily. "Stay together. Always, always, always," added Mr. Shoe with a yawn. The little slippers heard them, but their curiosity was huge, like a balloon ready to burst. One by one, they slid off the shelf. Zip, zip, zip. First Green Slipper, then Yellow Slipper, then Pink Slipper. The floor felt so different, smooth and cool in one place, warm and rough in another. They slipped out through the back door, which was just a tiny bit open. Outside, the garden looked magical. There were red flowers, yellow flowers, blue flowers. Butterflies fluttered here and there. "So pretty, so pretty!" cried Pink Slippers, spinning in circles. They hopped over a shiny gray stone. They ran through the soft green grass. The grass was tall and ticklish, like a tiny forest full of surprises. "To adventure! To adventure!" they sang loudly. Green Slipper ran in front, leading the way. Yellow Slipper laughed at everything. Pink Slipper bounced with joy. Then, suddenly, they saw something shiny on the ground. "A puddle! A puddle!" said Yellow Slipper. It was a muddy puddle, brown and shiny, almost like a mirror. "Wow, that looks fun," said Green Slipper. "Let's jump in," he shouted. Without thinking, they all jumped. 1, 2, 3. Splash! But the mud was sticky, very, very sticky. "Oh no, my foot!" cried Pink Slipper. One of her little soles was stuck fast. Green Slipper tried to pull her out. Yellow Slipper pulled too. 1, 2, 3, pull! But the mud held tight. The little slippers started to feel scared. The sun didn't seem so bright anymore. The wind felt a little colder. "Help!" cried Pink Slipper in a tiny voice. They were all alone. Back at the shoe rack, Mrs. Boot suddenly opened her eyes. "Where are the little slippers?" she asked, her heart skipping a beat. Mr. Shoe looked around. "They're not here." He looked down and saw tiny little footprints in the dust on the floor. "They went outside," said Mr. Shoe. "The back door was open." Mrs. Boot and Mr. Shoe hurried out right away. They followed the tiny tracks through the grass, past the flowers, and then, "Oh no," gasped Mrs. Boot. There were the little slippers, small, muddy, and scared, stuck in the sticky puddle. "Mom! Dad!" they cried, so relieved. "Don't worry, my loves. We're here," said Mr. Shoe in his calm, strong voice. Mrs. Boot stepped closer. She was big, sturdy, and very brave. She leaned carefully over the puddle. "Hold on tight to my straps," she said. The little slippers grabbed her strong straps with all their might. Mrs. Boot pulled. 1, 2, 3. Pull! And out they came. Plop, plop, plop. The little slippers were free. "We're saved!" cheered Green Slipper. Mr. Shoe checked each one carefully. "You're all muddy," he said gently, "but you're safe." The little slippers wrapped their little straps around Mrs. Boot and Mr. Shoe in a big family hug. "We promised to stay together," said Pink Slipper. "And listen to you too," added Yellow Slipper. Mrs. Boot and Mr. Shoe smiled warmly. "Now let's go home and have a nice bath," said Mrs. Boot. Back at the shoe rack, the little slippers were all clean, cozy, and sweet-smelling again. That day, they learned a very important lesson. The outside world is exciting. It's full of adventures and wonderful discoveries. But it's much safer and much more fun when you stay close to the ones who love you. With family, we are strong. With family, we are brave. With family, everything feels safe. Mrs. Boot kissed each little slipper softly. Mr. Shoe gave them a gentle pat with his lace. "Always together, always happy, always strong," said Mrs. Boot as she wrapped everyone in a big family hug. The little slippers bounced with joy, knowing that the shoe rack was the safest place in the world. And the Shoe family had many more adventures after that. But always together, always with love, because family is the greatest treasure of all. And when we stay close to the ones who love us, everything turns out just right. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss any new adventures.